Hey, this is Mike Koenigs. I'm here today with my friend Jonathan Friedman.
Hello.
All right. And I'm going to set this up so you know what this is about. It's because you're here because you want to upgrade your entire business with AI. And I'm going to show you how it's possible in 3 days because that's exactly what Jonathan and I have been doing. He spent 3 days with me. He's from an organization called Liminal. He's an architect. And he's also going to be at AI Accelerator Live as one of our case studies. But I want to give you a little pre-frame here because today we're going to talk about all the tools, resources, and how he upgraded his brand, his business software, content, packaging, positioning, messaging, um, all in 3 days. And he has a challenge, which is he's been stuck in a sea competing with other architects. We just completely redefined what he is. So I'm going to show you a bunch of case studies and examples, but I want to begin with you and ask you, what just happened?
That's what I'm asking myself. Like, no, it's been an incredible few days. Really transformational. And really, in kind of two levels. One is the actual content that we just produced to accelerate my business, our studio, but then also just in terms of process and unpacking it and understanding how much value there is in all of this.
Okay. So one of the things that you said yesterday that really hit me in what we wanted to call this is AI as a team member.
Mm.
So where did you see AI being a team member over the past 3 days? What got made? And I'm going to show some of this off as well. So I'm going to show you watching and or listening what we made, but I also want to hear it through your lens because we're just literally, let's say we're the end of the third day.
Yeah.
But what was your experience of what AI did with us and for us?
Well, what was so interesting, what struck me is, you have a fantastic team that we've been working with, humans, people,
Mhm.
and then so I think what we've also seen is technology with Zoom, and it's so fluid and interactive now that you're with other people in the room and you're not even thinking about it. So
Mhm.
that's just like it's just a non-starter.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, there's this other voice, this other agent in the room that's operating, doing all this heavy lifting, and you're there behind the scenes, typing your prompts, working away, bringing this all together, taking the words that we've been saying,
Mhm.
feeding them into the into the interface. And while we're continuing to ideate and talk, these processes and multiple processes, in fact, um, are rendering and generating and just coming up with some real gems then that we take and we further iterate on and select and refine and hone.
Okay. So I'm going to show some of these and we'll talk about them. You'll be able to see them up on the screen here. The first thing will be we built this new pitch deck for you.
Mhm.
So it encapsulates your offer. And, some of this includes like this look and feel, which this, by the way, is art that's done by a human. And also some of your material. We were able to generate lots and lots of hooks, hundreds of them before we settled on liminal at the edge of spirit and material. Um, we created this is the first version of a sizzle reel, which I'm not going to play the audio right now, but it's got voice narration, animation. This was made in about 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and we fed it your entire body of work, meaning we interviewed you, captured, put all of your work inside it in the opening statement, which I'll show here. This again, we came up with the title and subtitle through multiple iterations, your magnum opus, places and spaces that embody your life's greatest meaning and purpose. We were able to pick from hundreds of options and boil them down. So it was great to have the AI companion and, even this, the space where material and spirit meet, defining your impact today and beyond. And then some of the stories, which you originally had,
Hmm.
the Taj Mahal, but we got to reprocess it multiple times and also do research on other works, great works that we can reference. Um,
But Mike, if I can just
yeah, please.
pause you there for a second, what actually blew my mind with some of the stuff was we didn't actually prompt them in some of those cases. The prompt was, create a video or find us images and tell this story
Yeah.
through some of the greatest architectural works of history. And what came back was the Taj Mahal and Neuschwanstein. And that to me is the amazing part. And then, of course, we honed it with some of the modern, like, amazing projects. And so we weren't going out there and saying, do this. We were saying,
Yep,
here's
got it vague prompts.
exactly, here's the canvas. Here's the idea. Here's what we are wanting to create. Mr. or Miss AI, go out and find this for us and create this for us.
Yeah. So I'm going to show a couple more things because this was early on. We decided, hey, let's create um, some book covers
Mhm.
and titles and subtitles. So we came up with about 50 different titles and subtitles. We picked this one. Yeah, I don't think this is where we're going to be, but at least we had something to talk about from success to significance. And we built these book covers, some of these with ChatGPT, some of them with one of my favorite tools, which is Ideogram. Um, but I like creating visuals that we see in a store, um, just because it creates amazing conversations and keeps the movement going. So talk a little bit about what your experience was keeping the dopamine levels high and always knowing we had an answer that was minutes away that normally would take us hours or days.
Mhm. Well, it is a real game changer that you have this this team member that is equipped with like all the knowledge in the world in your back pocket, and you can harness it. And uh, it kept getting more sophisticated and more sophisticated. And I think what it did for me as well was it made the intangible real. We were talking about some pretty abstract concepts. You'd say to me, hey, Jonathan, okay, let's talk about a book idea. Okay, great. But then within minutes to be able to visualize a cover and to start to think about what it looks like that is real staying power.
Yeah. And I'm going to show you two things. So I showed the cover, but this is the first pass. So one of the tools we used, we can look through the page numbers here. I produced a 250-page book based on your entire body of work, which, full disclosure, we had to load into this thing, which didn't take that long, but all of your architectural drawings, all the conversations we had, but it did amazing research and wrote this book. Took about 30 minutes and I actually wrote 2 books for you. Um, so now we've got something to look at. I always say AI is a great first draft partner, but this would have been easily 3 weeks to 3 months to get to
Well,
a first
absolutely,
draft.
but also, like, I look at this from my perspective as that's a huge, like, the value of my time over that
Mhm.
period of time, not only is working with clients, meeting new clients, doing the work and leading the team, that is my valuable time that's being freed up. And so what I have in front of me then is a first draft manuscript, as you say, that I can go through, I can redline and say, oh wow, this is a gem. Let's expand on this. And the process then is very iterative.
Yep. Um, another thing that we did, um, is we created, and I'll show it right now. I use ChatGPT, and we built an entire marketing campaign for channel partners because we realized that we got to get you in front of, um, financial advisors, wealth managers.
People feeling you move the needle, people who can and will and want
Yep.
to. But not only that, I think the prompt as well was also very open-ended, where part of the exercise was having our virtual team member go out there and identify who those partners might be.
Yes.
And it came back with a long list, and then from that, we started creating.
Yeah. And we did build a huge library of channel marketing partners to find 300 of them. And we wound up with all the contact information and also bullet points and hooks on which of your content would be most relevant to their audience.
So what was going through my mind as you were doing this and I was looking at that was, holy shit, this is like I can imagine what I would be doing to try to generate that. I'd probably get, maybe 20, maybe 25, maybe they'd be good, maybe they'd be bad. I would have spent 2 hours doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's how that was the lens that I was looking at
Yeah.
what we were doing.
If I know this because I used to do it. It used to cost me $10,000 in 2 weeks for a professional to research and get me 100,
Mm.
uh, uh, organizations and the contact names and be able to do research.
Mhm.
And that's like MBA caliber, researcher.
Mm.
So, and that again, we did the research in about 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna show you another thing that, that happened. We decided, "Hey, let's create" it was actually Vivian's idea. "What about a TED Talk?"
Mm.
So, I had, AI create a TED Talk, and so the entire speech and a simulated TED Talk that turned out to only be 15 minutes. And what was your first impression when we watched that yesterday in terms of the messaging and how close it was to being something you'd say that was accurate and also TED worthy and compatible?
Yeah, like for me, honestly, this was 50% minimum of the way there.
Mhm.
Like out of the gate as a starting block to springboard the whole endeavor forward, is fantastic.
Okay.
Like what is 50% of my time worth to me? It's
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah, compared to anyone who's ever created a TED Talk before. So this is visuals, it's narrated as
Yeah.
if it were by you. Um,
But I'll say this as well. It's not just a script. It's not just, placeholders and that kind of stuff. It is movement and sound and images
yeah,
that then we can then react and say, oh, wow, this is really interesting. Okay, let's develop this idea more or strike this or whatever it is. Yes.
yep. And I'm whizzing through it here,
Mhm.
but it actually simulated some of your work inside here just based on the descriptions.
Mm.
Um, and mind blowing. This was a tool I use. I use a whole bunch of different image generators. This is one. We created some animated logos, and again. This is a modern floating retreat. I use Sora for this, but it visually created a 3D rendering of the boathouse, your $8 million boathouse you did for a
Mhm.
client.
And by the way, to do something like that, like we do all of our renderings in house, and we use AI to do a lot of our digital work, which is really an interesting
Mhm.
collaboration. But for instance, a video like that with a professional render, $20,000, $30,000 quite easily.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, so there you can see some of the examples, but these I bang these things out with a simple prompt in about 15 minutes. So the way I look at any time we're doing something like this, it's like, how can I keep the conversation going so we get more done faster and walk out of here with not only a sense of done, but something that you can go out and close more deals. So I want to ask you this question. So based on what we've done over the past 3 days, and what you walked in with versus what you have now, how much additional revenue do you believe how many more deals do you think you can close? How much additional revenue can you increase your business by over the next 12 months?
Um, I would say coming into this, or my goal for the beginning of the year, before we were chatting and finalizing things, my goal was to land 3 projects for this year. 3 large, multi-million-dollar projects. I believe that we could double that for this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. That's the goal. Um,
Just a second. Fist bump. Well
yeah,
done. Yeah.
yeah.
What else? Anything else? How about your ability? One of the things that we worked on are so we've got elevator pitches too. We got about 50 of them. Each one we figured out all the different segments for channel marketing partners. So if you think of financial advisors, wealth managers, um, podcasts, YouTube shows that are in the wealth space that attract high value founders and entrepreneurs. So we've got pitch packages as well.
Mm,
Um, just think about how much time, how much energy that would have taken to build all
mhm.
those.
Well, I have basically, you know, the last 3 days, I've been MIA from the office, from the studio to focus on this.
Mhm.
And so I can just imagine, as a leader, as a founder, if I were to put that kind of time, or if we didn't have the AI assistance, how much time that would actually have taken away from my core business. So, I mean, to me, that value, you can't even, the numbers are that's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So I've got base of this down, but how would you describe the experience you just went through from, we onboarded ahead of time. We gathered your body of work. We built a couple AIs,
Mm.
one of them with Notebook LM, and then we had a couple other tools as well. So we had your body of work,
Mm.
and then we've been building on it. So a
Mhm.
lot of this is new synthetic content you created with AI to enhance your existing brain and brand.
Yeah, yeah.
But just describe the experience if there's anything else.
Um, it's a very empowering experience. Uh, this Mike, you and your team, um, uh, it's just been an elevated first class, kind of master class for me in working on our aspirational messaging and helping our clients realize their biggest dreams.
Mm, love that. Well, here's what I'm gonna end this video with a message to you, and that is what Jonathan just experienced. There's an opportunity for you to spend 2 days at an event. It's called AI Accelerator Live. It's in San Diego. If you go to aiaccelerator.com/live, here's what it is. It's 2 days, 4 sessions for you and a plus one, which means you can bring an implementer or a business partner. We also give you 2 tickets to send your team to virtually. And it's broken down into 4 chunks. So day one, morning is what we call the superpower accelerator. It's get your time back. Doing some of the things we just talked about, getting 2 weeks of research done in 2 to 20 minutes. We give you playbooks, workflows, all the tools. It's workshop style. So you don't just learn stuff and watch us, you're actually doing it with us. So if you want to write a book, build a business plan, do channel marketing, just visualize, clarify faster than you can delegate, but more importantly, bringing these mindsets into your own organization. Something really important, in my opinion. The founder can't dictate, start using AI. You have to know what's possible and have a sense of what is a reasonable ask and an unreasonable ask. And it's best if you know how to use this yourself and you don't have to be technical to do it. Next, the afternoon session, we call it the marketing accelerator. So it's your one-person marketing department. So rapid content creation. So some of the videos, the virtual TED Talk, video, audio, books, content, ads, copy, distribution. You can do the work of 4 to 6 people with one person. And again, you want this in your own organization. If you're a solopreneur, you want to do something yourself, it's a great thing to do. You wanted to add something.
I do.
Yeah.
You've been
Oh, I'm watching your body language.
That's so interesting. It occurred to me, Mike, like this is a very different sphere, and the way that you operate and the way that your team operate, it's quite eye-opening because the way that we work in the architectural world is we sit with the client, we talk to them, we get their ideas, we'll sketch, so there is that in kind of real time. But then we take their ideas away and we go and we iterate.
Mhm.
And it's a separate exercise.
Wow.
And it's kind of done in relative isolation, and then we'll come back a week or 2 weeks later and we'll say, okay, this is what we thought about, this is what we've created. Okay, react to this, and we'll draw and we'll sketch, we'll cross that out, and we'll go back. Okay, and we'll do it again, and we'll go back and forth like that. And what it just occurred to me is that it's very, very different process. I think one is to your, how you operate, which is so exciting, and I'm, can learn so much from that. But to then see that, okay, what's actually happening is you are doing all of this in real time. And I think that's one of the major powers of AI. So when, Elliot and I and Abby are working on stuff, you're engaging with the AI interface, and it's all live. It's all done in real time.
Yeah.
And so that when we, 10, 15 minutes later, we're looking at stuff and reacting to it. And therefore we're able to compress, 2, 3, 4 weeks or, down into this weekend. And so we go from, in the morning, having a very rough draft, to the evening, we've got, we're 90% of the way there.
You're right. You're right. So we have a philosophy, we call it now and done. So we don't wait. I don't want to delegate. Most of the time nowadays, I can get something done faster and I can even communicate and delegate because I can iterate with the AI. And then the next thing is if you, this whole real time thing, that to me is the future of business.
Yeah.
It's not going away and isolating, but collaborating. at a significantly compressed
Well,
space.
it's compressing, but at the same time, it's actually blowing it up.
Yeah.
And that's been a bit of a game changer for me because it's a different world. You know,
Mhm.
our world is kind of slow moving and okay, let's think about this. Let's run it through a bunch of different things and do it away from everybody. You're saying, no, let's do it right here, right now.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah. It also is dependent on business owner founders don't have time. Trying to wrangle their time for very long is almost impossible. So what I've learned is if I can get you in a room and know that you get a whole bunch of deliverables, like a whole business, a whole brand, a whole pitch deck, all the marketing content, the packaging, positioning, messaging, branding, and then we can communicate the vision like we did with Yasmin, who's part of your business. She got it
Yeah.
in an hour,
Yeah.
everything we did. And she's like, I'm on board. Like we had what I would call brand compliance
Mm,
and culture compliance.
yes.
And that's why this is so important to do right
Yes.
now
Yes.
in this fashion. All right, so I'm going to do the day 2. Um, what happens in the morning? We call it the opportunity accelerator. So just like we were talking about, it's elevating the value of your brand, your products, your services, offers, creating authority, expert content, and tools. So again, maybe that's a book beyond your marketing. It's systems that scale, finding opportunities enhanced with AI. So for example, what we're able to do with Jonathan, we're going to show you how to do the research and find channel marketing partners, but also what are the hooks, what's the copy, what's the content you need to get in front of them, what are the tools? So they say yes, and they say, I give you permission to access my audience. Okay. Um, and being able to charge 3 to 10 times more. For example, with Jonathan, we reframed the business of architecture because he's adopting these methodologies in his own business. I guarantee you the same thing will happen to you, but you need to be in an environment where you're iterating together because we can compress an experience that would take months of mindset training into 2 days. Any comments on that?
Well, yeah, it's training, it's muscle memory. I mean, we've been going through this, you know, and this is a new way of thinking for me. It's the opposite of how I have uh, trained and how our business operates. So I think for other business leaders, owners, and founders to be aware of this as a kind of as a paradigm shift, because quite frankly, if you're not thinking this way, you're not operating this way, you're going to be left behind because others will be, and they're going to be in the room with your very clients doing this exact thing, and you're going to be sitting there literally spinning your wheels.
Yes. Okay, here's the final segment, which is scaling accelerator. So I have been cagey about revealing the exact tools. There's a couple of them because I believe they'll change by the time we're at our June event. But we've been using one tool in particular. It's agentic technology. It costs about $200 a month and it does the work of 4 to 5 people. So in the background, while my team was doing one thing, I had 3 or 4 or 5 agents writing content, doing research, building scripts, doing the TED Talks. We wrote a Sizzle reel. We created workflows for his business. We analyzed his entire body of work. We're going to show you how that's done and demonstrate it. And then again, you'll be the way we teach is we're going to show you the cool tool, interview a real person like Jonathan. So it'll be like, here's a case study. Now here's how it works. Now we're going to do it together. Now you get to break off into a group and do it for you. So you walk out having stuff done. And again, you can bring an implementer with you. So they're learning it with you and you can bring that back into your business. And you can also have implementers watching remotely. Okay. We kind of thought of it all here. And you walk out with the workflows and toolkits. And besides that, we've got vendor partners there. Many of them are actually clients who I've been helping them build their brands. So in the money, investing, longevity, we got someone representing taxes, tools. We got AI tool vendors, but most importantly, amazing people and connections you'll have for life. So part of what I'm doing with Jonathan, I wanted to feature him here because he's going to be featured again. You're going to find out what's happened over the next couple of months.
Mm.
You're going to see some of his work. And we've also got some other amazing case studies that we'll be sharing and showing as well. So Jonathan, just to wrap this up, is there something I should have said about the experience I didn't? Any questions I should have asked you that I didn't? Any clarifying points based on what I just shared about experientially what this might be like?
I think the only thing that you forgot to say, Mike, is how fun it was and how energizing it was and how um, it's thrilling and it's daunting, but like anything new and cutting edge, that's exactly where you should be.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, here's what I will do just to wrap this up. Thank you for that, by the way. I just want to acknowledge and receive. And I'm glad it was fun because it's scary sometimes. I'm afraid the fire hose will be too much and it might extinguish the beautiful fire because there's too much. But I'm glad you took the risk.
Yeah, and that's actually what I meant by daunt. It's not daunting in that sense. It's only daunting because, without being shown this stuff,
Mhm.
it's daunting. It was just a fun and really enjoyable few days.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So here's what I'm going to end with. I'm going to show you the screen. To learn more, go to aiaccelerator.com/live. There are discounts on seats right now. There's a little video here. By the way, that's a completely AI generated thumbnail. And these are the things you'll be learning. We go through what the days are like, day 1, day 2, this and also the sessions. There's some great testimonials. We've been doing AI training now for 2.5 years. Lots of credibility building, et cetera, et cetera. But my goal, oh, my son and my wife will be there. In fact, my wife, Vivian, is one of the case studies. But and it also takes place in one of the most beautiful places, University Club, top Symphony Towers, tallest building in San Diego, 10 minutes from the airport, great hotels nearby. And you'll see what's included with the seat. Again, lots of great tools. When you register early, we actually do a really cool background research tool. It's been I hate to say the word game changer because that's what AI says, but it has been for our business. We'll be deconstructing some of our best marketing and sales campaigns that you can use now, and you can get tickets at a discount until middle of the month. So the next step is yours to take. Thank you so much for watching. And Jonathan, let's say goodbye and thanks. Thank you everyone for watching.
Okay, well, thanks everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Register now.
See you in San Diego.
You will.